please, so
I'm ready when you are.
it's set up right.
No, you're good. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the April Village of Hebron Board and Plan and Zoning meeting. Would you please rise and join me with the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing is the call to order and roll call. Mayor Mokus is absent. Mr. Stoner is here. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Unwin is absent. And Mr. Wolf.
Here.
First item on the agenda is motion to approve the March 9th meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve or any discussion?
So moved.
Second.
No discussion?
No.
All right. Call the roll. Mayor Mokus is absent. Mr. Stoner's a yes. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Unwin's absent. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
All right, next item on tonight's agenda is public hearings. Public hearings of the Planning and Zoning Board will occur prior to the board conducting business at its regular meeting, which follows immediately after the hearing. These public hearings allow the opportunity for property owners to discuss their applications and present evidence and testimony regarding their requests before the board. Applications under consideration may include, but are not limited to, conditional uses, variances, site development plans, lot splits, home occupation, and or zoning amendments. No decision will be made at this public hearing. It will be made either during the regular meeting or within 30 days from the date of the public hearing. So anyone wishing to speak or comment during the public hearing must take the witness oath, or their comments cannot be considered. It is suggested that you stand and participate in the group witness oath to ensure your comments will be considered as part of the official record. So anyone wishing to speak, please stand. You and each of you do solemnly state that the testimony you may be giving in the cause now pending before the board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right, thank you. Be seated. All right, first item is an application that has been received for preliminary plan review of the proposed Capri Meatball Shop development on Arrowhead Drive, parcel number 075-344-754-00.143. Anyone wishing to speak on this application, please step forward to the mic and state your name and address, please.
So I'll add a few comments. We are just in the preliminary phase for this development. Of course, our engineers, our superintendents in my office have reviewed the preliminary piece at this point. When you see this come forward next, it'll be much more detailed with some additional utility options, or I shouldn't even say options, utility details on there. As of right now, there's no variances. It's zoned appropriately. So working through this process based on our site development code, and we have the architect and the engineering firm here if you have any questions for them.
So Luke Baus, 149 East Main Street, Hebron. One quick comment. I believe one of the preliminary engineering comments was an accessory lane, what's the word? Bypass lane for the drive-through.
Yes.
I don't believe that's explicit in your code, and I know there is not room on the site to necessarily do that. I guess I want to clarify that this drive-through lane is not a Wendy's, McDonald's, or River Road Coffee. It is a window that somebody can pull up and order their sandwich or their meatballs or sausage and take at the window and then drive away. one of the reasons that the owners would like to do that is for convenience of the community, basically. So,
And I will add to that, Scott with GPD, our engineer, we had a detailed conversation about that. And when we really talked about the scope of business at this particular site, and what Luke had mentioned, our code does not require that, as it stands right now. But then when we had some additional conversations about that recommendation, we felt comfortable. Fire department, of course, has looked at this as well, and looked at the access points, and we've had lots of detailed conversations in that arena. So my office is comfortable moving forward without that additional space to get around, given the circumstance. Like Luke had said, if this was a much larger establishment with more frequent traffic, our recommendation may look different.
Can you point out on here where you're talking, where the window is? I can't really tell from the map. This is your.
So essentially it's a drive-through.
Okay,
So the window would be right here.
on that side.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yep.
I'm calling it a carry-out window versus a drive-through
Yeah.
window.
Actually, that's
That's what
a,
I call
a
it.
great example. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't, I'm assuming you don't have like a speaker. They just have
No
to drive
menu
up to the
board, none of-
window, kind of like Pizza Cottage.
Or like thinking the dairy bar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than that.
I don't really have any further questions. Scott, you have anything? Randy?
No, I'm good.
The only other comment I'll make is that when we do officially get to final and we have to get signatures on the plans, there's a couple small things that have to be changed name-wise on the plans, but we can get through that easy.
Biggest question is, how soon do you want to open?
Yeah, I was thinking free samples. Is what I was
We do not get anything.
We
free.
can't.
Right, Jen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We will attend the open house in
But
celebration.
leftovers are,
Yes.
leftovers are getting rid of then.
It's only if they give them away to everyone, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
An open house, a ribbon cutting. Exactly.
What the public gets free zoning board advice.
Yeah, exactly. All right, if there's no further comments and questions, we will move on to the next public hearing. The next public hearing is for proposed zoning amendments 1137.02 permitted uses, 114107 review procedure, 1147.03 public nuisance regulations, 1147.05 fences, hedges, decks, and carports, 1147.07 temporary uses, 1155.02 landscaping and screening standards, 1163.14 yard area maintenance, 1173.03 lot split application, 1173.04 approval of lot split, 1173.06 exempted lot split application, 1173.07 approval of an exempted lot split community development coordinator term. And that's it. Phew, that was a lot.
Been a process to get here.
So what do we got here? Okay. All right. Any questions or concerns about what Jen has drafted as part of our proposed zoning amendments?
In your packet, you should have the red line version of everything we've been discussing for several months now at this.
Yeah, so, board members, that those red lines, as you know, we've seen a number of versions over the months. This is the red lines from your code as it sits today, in case that's useful for you to see specifically the changes, rather than as the last version you saw were red lines from the prior version. So this is the totality version to review. If you have
Yeah,
any questions about that?
very much appreciated in this format.
Of course. No changes have been made by my officer or the village since the last set you saw, but we provided this red line just so it's easier to read.
And this is the version that if any resident comes in and has questions or concerns about what we are proposing change wise, this is what we will show them. to make sure that it's very clear that they understand what changes we're considering.
That's very thorough. I like the way it was drafted. I think it's got very good content now and very, clear. I don't know if the other board members have comments, but I think it was done very well.
Yeah, oh, no, it looks good. The only thing I was wondering, so we changed the side setback. And it's, you know, with the prior written agreement with the abutting property owner and all that. Do we need some sort of a form, or does that need to be notarized or something like that?
We could likely develop, fair point, we could likely develop a form for Brittany's office to keep.
I mean, because, you know, and then somewhere down the line, someone gets mad at someone else and say, look here, you know, this is a legal piece of paper you signed.
Right.
What
Right.
we traditionally would do is provide a sample that they can use, they can choose to use, and include that in one of the documented pieces that are required for us to approve the application. So if they are going to do it on the property line, when we're going to approve or deny, one of the things we're specifically looking for is that an agreement like that has been attached to the application.
Who do we have? Is Chris notarized?
Caitlin's a notary.
Okay, so we could then just have a written statement between the two and
Mhm,
have it notarized, and it would be legal to do regardless, and then it can come to us then.
mhm.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I would leave the authority with Brittany in her
Yeah,
office, but
okay.
as far as whether it's notarized or not, I could go either way on that.
Okay.
There are pros and cons,
Okay.
probably both ways, but if you have a notary in an office,
Yes.
no one has to go hunt
Oh,
somebody.
sure,
down.
sure,
So,
agree.
that has traditionally a little better weight, you know, people can sort of take the, you know, anyone can, somebody's gonna lie, they're gonna lie,
Mm.
whether it's notary signature or not. But, sometimes it makes people think twice about, well, do I have my neighbor's permission or not? So,
Mhm.
fair point, I'm good either way, with whatever
Okay.
that form ends up.
Yeah, we can definitely chat more from an administrative
I mean,
perspective,
that
what
doesn't
that
have
looks
to be
like.
explained in here.
It
but,
doesn't.
yeah.
Correct.
But we'll
Yeah.
definitely have some type of documentation that supports it, and we'll talk more about the notary process with
Yep.
Jen and get that established.
Sounds good.
I do have a question, and I don't know if this is necessarily pertaining to the regulations, but it does have some pertinence. The lighting thing, it's listed as shall not exceed 100 watts. So how does that come into play with a sign that's not a light? And I know you know what I'm talking about,
A sign that's not a light.
the Legion sign.
Oh, because it's a,
It's
you're
a
talking about
video
it's a,
board. Yes,
A digital sign,
yes.
essentially.
Oh, I bet it does. Seriously, with all them LEDs, I bet it doesn't put 100 watts out. I really don't.
Okay.
We've also talked
'Cause, I
about
mean, I see- you
truly
see some of these-
determining that too.
Or 100 or 1,000. Hell, your
Yeah.
microwave puts out 1,000 watts.
Mhm.
Well, this says 100 in here.
So this sentence, I guess to your point, this sentence is limited to in residential districts. And lights that are used, yard light, decorative light, security light, or other light left continuing on during darkness. So is the sign we're talking about A, in a residential district? And B, because my point only then would be all your other sign regulations continue to
Mhm.
operate.
Okay,
This is unique to, and this is a sentence that's already in your code, which
okay.
but this is, I would say, all aimed at residential, I mean floodlights, right?
Yes.
This is aimed at people who put the wrong bulb in their security light outside, it shines right in somebody's window. We
Mhm.
say, hey, could you put a different light bulb in that
Mhm.
in that floodlight so that you're not shining in your window?
So if
But
we have a scenario,
commercial signs, I would
Okay.
say.
Yeah.
Remain well regulated by.
our
whole other
digital
section.
sign
Right.
signage, okay.
Okay.
This particular one we are talking about, it abuts a commercial and a residential area. But we've approved it based on our digital sign code.
And being on continually matters too, because you can have a floodlight that
Exactly.
comes on and then turns back off.
Exactly.
And it can be brighter,
Correct.
technically.
Right.
Okay. All right.
That's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up.
All right. Any further questions or discussion about the well-drafted, well thought out, purposed, or proposed zoning amendments.
It's good.
Looks good.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn from the public hearing and reconvene into the regular meeting?
So move.
Second.
Time is 6:15 PM. I'll call the roll. Mayor Mokus is absent. Mr. Stoner is a yes. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Unwin's absent. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
We are adjourned from the meeting. Next item on the agenda requiring action is an application has been received for preliminary plan review of the proposed Capri Meatball Shop development on Arrowhead Drive, parcel number 075-344-754-00.143. Do I have a motion to approve with conditions, or deny the application?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I'll call the roll. Mayor Mokus is absent. Mr. Stoner is a yes. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Unwin is absent. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
The motion has been approved. Next, we have, next item for action, we have proposed zoning amendments 1137.02 permitted. Do I have to read this again? Oh, thank you.
And Chairman,
no,
can I
no,
make
I-
a clarifying point too? One, thank you. I'm really glad I don't have to torture you with that. Two, I just want to clarify for procedural processes that if you approve with conditions or deny tonight, that recommendation will then go to council where they will hold a public hearing to make the ultimate decision. So if you approve this tonight, they won't go into effect. We'll have to go through a whole nother set of process, but I think we all know that, but I just want to clarify.
And I actually provided the board this evening with sample motions. They're just slightly different than your typical approve with conditions denied. They're really the same spirit. It's really grant, and it comes out of your code language. It's grant with modifications, or deny. So you can, depending on the pleasure of the board here tonight, you can choose one of the motions I gave you samples for. So again, the spirit is the same, the terminology is just slightly different.
Yeah, it won't be till the 27th. So-
Mhm.
All
And
right.
even then I might ask council to move it 1 week just because I will be out of the country that date. So if they expect me to have questions, or maybe I can coordinate with Jen to be present via Zoom, or so we don't hold up the process.
All right, so on the next item requiring action, the proposed zoning amendments that were read earlier in this hearing. Do I have a motion to amend or grant the amendment to grant the amendment with modification, or deny the amendment?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Yeah, to agree. The amendment. Recommend granting. Oh, from the sample, this one.
Oh, yes.
Great.
I was going by what we had here. Yeah, okay.
So I think we have a motion to recommend grant.
Recommend, correct. Yeah. Recommend the village council that February 9th it's got. So I just now looked at that. 2026 planning and zoning amendment be granted as proposed.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion by Council Member
Thank you.
Wolf and a second by Council Member Jacobs. Any discussion? I'll call the roll. Mayor Mokus is absent. Mr. Stoner is a yes. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Unwin is absent. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
All right, it has been approved granting the amendment. Next on the agenda, we have visitor comments. Going once, going twice. Next, we have the Economic and Community Development Monthly Report.
All right. Just a few things I want to mention is that the junk vehicle and annual exterior property notice has went out to residents. Social media as well, will go into the water bill. So that first notice is what we're required to put out by code. And then we can, take care of the properties, how our code depicts when we have any challenges or issues. So it is the season of mowing and tending to our garden beds. So hopefully we have very minimal issues, but this is when we typically see a spike in those things. But those notices have been put out. Of course, you had Capri Meatball in front of you. You can anticipate that we will have AutoZone very shortly. Community Bank, we're expecting in the next 30 days that they will start doing some grading on their site. We're working through getting a pre-construction meeting now and securing the bonding and the insurance that's necessary for that. Cumberland Meadows, they continue to move forward with construction on phase 2 of their condos. Spires Development, I think I mentioned this last time, but I wanted to mention it once more if I hadn't, is that we have worked with their contractors and Zimba and received as-built of the elevation of that property, and they have adjusted the elevations to match the plan and the flood permit that was given. We had some corrective actions that have had to take place, but those have been completed and we are good to go. Wood Springs, they've made some progress on the site. A lot of it's been kind of ground level, other than the elevator shaft that you see, but I was just provided an update, and he's hopeful that we're going to see some more activity out there in the next 60 days. And then National Church Residencies, they are good to go. They've started doing the seating. That was really the only thing that we were waiting on for a full occupancy from the village. And that was just because of the seasonal impacts. They couldn't really do the seating at the time that they wrapped up construction. So they've started that and moving along. And then you can see poor Caitlin has been bombarded with people coming in for permits. And I shouldn't say that negatively. We love helping residents handle that, but it's definitely been an uptick and we've had to adjust our timing and our schedules to make sure that we can be more accessible. And then code enforcement, we're continuing to move forward with that, anticipating that we'll need to spend a lot more time out doing code enforcement over the next several months with the weather changing. Our CIC, or Community Improvement Corporation, they are hosting an event called Love Your Neighbor, where we will be helping seniors in the community that could use an extra help around their home on exterior projects. The application is open, so if you know of anybody, please recommend that they apply for that assistance. There's also hard copies of applications here in the office. But we're also looking for volunteers. So if any of you would be interested on April 25th, you can give an hour, you can be there the whole time. But we're going to be doing things like cleaning up branches and flower beds and maybe painting handrails, those things. So we're excited to do that for our first go around. Any questions or comments for me?
You got your one permit for fence, is that under the current? Or
Yes.
did you say, oh, this is what?
I actually just had a conversation most recently with someone with the recommendation that if they don't want our current sign code, that they're going to have to pause just a little bit longer. But I shared with them the progress that we've made so far. Mhm.
Any more questions for Brittany?
Nope.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the zoning attorney report. Jan?
Thank you so much. We have a couple cases in court that are sort of at, I'll say, critical mass of where we want to go with them. They could go one of two ways. We could get them resolved as we've been trying, or not, in which case, we'll sort of go back to the drawing board and then get that process as far as having, asking courts, hearing, et cetera. Because our intention is, again, as the village, not to have to take it to that. I always try to, as you've heard me say before, try to resolve things amicably if they can be. Usually we're trying to use enforcement at that level to just get somebody's attention and get their, get them to start taking some care on one of the issues that have been violations, usually for quite some time. Sometimes that's successful, sometimes it's not as successful as you'd like it to be. So, and I know Brittany has sent over a couple other properties that were working on as well, but obviously we'll follow our process for making them aware first, trying to obtain voluntary compliance without needing court, and then availing ourselves of the court process if it comes to that. So trying to see some, I guess we're, at least one of the cases we've seen some progress, but I think the property owner thinks that that's enough. And in our position, our opinion, that's not, they have not addressed all of the violations on the property. The other one, again, without getting into too much detail on public record, because it's sensitive information, they've reached some pretty significant financial impasses, it seems. So although we have a court order pending existing in the courts, what I've been told is they're not sure how to make that happen in their current financial situation. So understand that sort of a tough love situation, but understand the position they're in, but certainly need to hold the provisions of our code and try to see some progress, in some fashion. But those conversations with that owner, their attorney's been very candid and forthcoming, and so I always give folks a little more respect when respect's not the right word, but leeway is not the right word either, but sort of acknowledgement when they're responsive as far as when they're not, right? So that responsiveness starts to go by the wayside. Obviously, I take a different approach, but
Right.
seeing progress, I think, and certainly will change tacks and take a different approach if we're not.
All right. Thank you. Next we have the next planning and, oops, I almost skipped one. Planning and zoning board member discussion comments. Randy, you have any?
No, I'm pretty good today.
Scott?
I'm good.
I am good as well. It's not often when I don't have something to say, so. The next regular meeting is scheduled for May 11th at 6 PM. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
6:27 is the time. Call the roll. Mayor Mokus is absent. Mr. Stoner is a yes. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Unwin's absent. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you.